So I think that title pretty much gave it all away, but I quit the airline. I'm John from Fly 8 Mike Alpha, CFI turned airline pilot turned back to CFI. Come along on my journey, flying Alaska to Florida and beyond. Now, if that intro didn't give it all away, yeah, I'm used to be a CFI, then I was an airline pilot like most CFIs, you're a CFI and then you become an airline pilot. And then I decided I wanted to go back to being a CFI, which seems totally crazy, totally counterintuitive, and you're probably thinking, why on earth would you want to do that? Why would you throw away a good airline career? And I'm going to tell you why. So, yeah, you might think like, oh, you're a terrible person, you're an idiot, you studied so hard, you worked all those hours, you flew with students for so many hours, you built up your time, you became an airline pilot, and you're throwing away a good career. Well, thanks, Mom, for that motivational speech, but in fact, I'm just starting a new chapter in my career, and I really enjoy teaching. I really enjoy interacting with people. And the people I got to interact with at the airline were awesome. I mean, the captains I flew with, super cool. Flying with those flight attendants and everything, all the different flight crews, super cool. I was just ready to kind of trade that out and go back to being a regular old Fly at Mike Alpha CFI. I love general aviation. I love little airplanes. And, well, the airline life, let me just take you through a regular day, right? So what's a normal day in an airline pilot's life? So day one of the trip, right? Or night before even, it kind of starts. You look at your cell phone, you're like, okay, I got to go to work. What am I doing? You look at it, you're like, okay, I got, 5 legs to fly today. Woohoo, it's going to be great. That's a long day. I'm going to be flying for, looks like I got 12 and a half hours on duty. I'm going to be paid about, looks about like 6 hours, 5.5, 6 hours. Wonderful. So I'm going to make 5.5 hours times $38 an hour, not a lot of money, and I'm going to have to commute that morning, so I'm going to have to get up, I'm going to have to leave the house by 3:45 in the morning, get in the car, drive to the airport, and then try to jumpseat, so you quick list for the jumpseat, and you list, and you're like, okay, I'm number 1 on the list, I should make it. You get there, and guess what? Flight's delayed. So you're like, okay, well now how am I going to get to work? So now you got to go from Sarasota to Atlanta on Delta, and then you got to go Atlanta to Charlotte, and then you get to Charlotte, and you were gonna sleep in the crew room for a couple hours before you had to go to work at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and then fly till past midnight. But now you've pretty much burnt up that whole time commuting as a passenger, so you've already flown 2 legs. You didn't get paid for any of it. You were standby. You're in the jump seat on an old Mad Dog with your feet just kind of dangling, because the way the jump seat is, at least my legs are too short to actually touch the floor. I think most guys are like that. They just kind of dangle there. So yeah, that's super comfortable. So you get to Charlotte, you quick run across the airport. You didn't bother to call crew scheduling and tell them you're running a little late because you don't want to get in trouble and get those attendance points slapped on you. So you run across the airport, no time for food. The line at Starbucks is too long. You quit, run down the jet bridge, show them your ID, run down there. You drop your bags off. People are already boarding the airplane. Passengers are already there. Flight attendants are on board. Captain's already there. You run down the jet bridge. You go around the airplane. You do a quick pre-flight. You run back up. The last passengers are getting on board. You're quick plugging in your headset, getting out your iPad, signing paperwork, getting everything set up, setting up the FMS, setting up the airplane, trying to set up your iPad, get all ready. And before you know it, they're closing the door, pulling the jet bridge, and captain's looking at you like, hey man, call for push. And you're still just crazy, setting up the box as fast as you can, getting the clearance, getting the ATIS, writing everything out, and getting the flight plan and putting it into the computer. You push off the gate, you're still super pumped because, you're gonna go fly a jet, right? So although you had to get up super early and drive to the airport and you missed that first flight and you had to jump seat all around, you're still pumped. It's still gonna be a good time, and you're excited. You go do your first leg, so you fly your 45-minute leg from Charlotte to Wilmington, North Carolina, and you spend most of that on the ground. It's like an 18-minute flight or something. And you go out to Wilmington and back, and then you get back to Charlotte, and you're like, okay, cool, grab my bags off the airplane, we gotta swap aircraft, you gotta run across the airport again. You're kind of running late, the line at Starbucks is too long, you can't get food, now you're hungry, you're starving, but you get back on the airplane, and then you fly another super crazy long cross-country flight all the way to Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina. About an 11-minute flight. You don't even break 10,000 feet. So you shoot down to Greenville, Spartanburg, quick turn, 25 minutes on the ground, dump all the people off, you run around the airplane, do a post-flight, you get back on, you're getting the clearance, you're getting everything set up again. You get more people on board the airplane, you fly back to Charlotte. You try to fly back to Charlotte, but you're sitting there on a ground stop, and then you're just sitting in the cockpit eating awful first-class snacks. This stuff right here, I have nightmares about this stuff. That's basically what you live off of. You ever wonder why I'm so skinny? Yeah, it's not because I'm healthy or I run. It's because this is what you live off of as a regional FO. So, yeah, Diabella, it'll make you die very young. But you try to munch down on some of that just to get some calories in you. You finally get back to Charlotte. At least you get to keep that airplane, so you leave your stuff on it, you run in the terminal, line's too long, but you're like, hey, I gotta get food, I'm dying. And by the time you get to the outstation, to your last flight, you've already done 4 flights, so now you gotta go do the last one. Everything's gonna be closed, because you're not gonna get to the hotel till like 1:30, 2 in the morning, or something like that. So you just say, forget it, I gotta get food. Then crew scheduling's calling because, hey, where are you? Like, now the flight's late and it's your fault because you had to go get food. So you do all that, you finally get back on, and you're like, man, I've been on 7 planes today. You get to the hotel and you're just beat. And that's day 1. You got 3 more days. And if you're lucky, then you're probably junior and you didn't get a very good schedule and the back end of the trip's not commutable. Or day 4 comes along and your flight is delayed, you've had weather, you've had maintenance, whatever, you're trying to get back to base, you walk around, you realize the tire is all messed up, and so now you gotta call maintenance at an outstation, takes forever for them to change it. Maybe they gotta fly a tire out from base, out to the outstation, and wherever you're at, Des Moines, Iowa, Austin, Texas, somewhere, and change out the tire, so now you're delayed several hours. You finally get back to Charlotte, and it's 10 p.m. and the last flight back home to Sarasota left at 8. So what do? Now you gotta go pay for a hotel out of your own pocket and then try to commute home the next day. So now your 5-day trip that credited a total of 18 and a half hours, and your grand takeaway is 18 and a half times 38. You got $703 out of the deal, minus 85 bucks you spent on a hotel. You got 618 bucks for basically 5 days of work. Plus you didn't really get a very good night's sleep the first day behind that. So 5.5 days or so. Now, that's not every airline job, but that's the regionals, and that's kind of the true part of it. There's some great parts. Travel benefits, awesome. Jump seating, super cool. Anywhere in the country, you can go all over the world. I did. I went to Australia, Spain, Andorra, France, all over the place. England, Ireland, Cuba. It was awesome. Like, definitely take advantage of that sort of stuff. But eventually you get kind of wore out, and eventually, you know, the paycheck's just not really cutting it. Eventually the signing bonus runs out, and that big signing bonus you got in the beginning isn't really continuing. So you actually make less money year 2 than you do year 1. So year 1, I made almost like 60 grand. Year 2, I was barely gonna make 50. So although it's a decent wage, when you got $100,000 in training costs, like all that debt from back in flight training, you know, and then you've got 4,000 hours of flight time and you've been flying for 6-7 years now, like, yeah, over 7 years. So 7 years of flying, 4,000 hours of flight time, $100,000 in debt. What more debts do I have to pay? So you gotta pay your debt, right? Do you need a kidney? Like, what's it gonna take for me to make like a good wage and be able to buy a house and be able to afford a mortgage and have kids and a family and afford all that at the airlines? Oh, you just have to sit there for like the next 10 or 20 years. Okay, well, I'm gonna be kind of old by then, and I don't really wanna start a family when I'm 45 or 50. I don't wanna be in debt up to my eyeballs either, so I've gotta do something else. And it's either gonna be corporate flying, going back to being a CFI, obviously being a flight instructor right now, super lucky. There's tons of jobs out there. They pay really well. I'm able to make a living at it. And I can also pick up a lot of corporate flying on the side that pays really well to just pick up these 1-day quick out and back trips or 2-day out and back type trips, corporate flying. That's awesome. I don't really have to be in hotels anymore. I can be in my own house, kind of on my own schedule. I can get up and run every morning. I can have a routine. I don't have to wake up one morning at 3 or 4 a.m. and then the next day I have to wake up at noon because I was flying all night, and you have to constantly change those weird sleep schedules. Some of the guys you look at and you're like, hey man, you're getting close to retirement. And you know, are you gonna retire at 65? Are you gonna wait all the way till you hit 65? And they're like, I'm 48. And you're like, oh, you look terrible. You should really see a doctor or something. Guys are dying of cancer just from being up in the radiation, from being up high, and also just from the crazy sleep schedules, terrible diets we have. It's really easy to not take care of yourself at the airline. Now you can put in the effort. I guess I'm just kind of too lazy. So I didn't really get taking care of myself, or I didn't really do a good job taking care of myself at the airline. didn't really eat very well, got sick a lot, you're around a bunch of people, and it's just not really what I was cut out to do. So I can always go back. It's totally worth it to go back, but trying to make a really good living at it, and there's guys, yeah, for the most part, you're going to credit like 65 to 85 hours a month, or 75 to 85 hours a month, at about 38 bucks an hour to start, 40 bucks an hour. Now, some guys are like, oh, you can credit 110, you can credit 115, but at the company I was at PSA, if you worked on a day off, you actually had to fill out all sorts of paperwork at the end of the month, and there was a really narrow window for you to do that just to get the money they actually owed you to make it worthwhile. So if your normal pay rate's 40 bucks an hour, and they're going to pay you, 1.25 because you worked on a day off, to get that extra 25% pay to make it 50 bucks an hour, you have to fill out all sorts of extra paperwork, otherwise they just won't do it. And they mess up your paychecks all the time when you had cancellations, and I get it's kind of crazy, but I'm just not going to pick up my phone on days off. When you guys call up and you're like, hey, we're junior manning because we're short, how soon can you make it to Charlotte? It's going to be like, I can't, because it's not worth it. And best of luck, I hope you don't cancel the flight. But it's just, at some point, it wasn't worth it to go to work. It started costing me more money to pay for a parking pass at the airport, to drive to the airport, to pay for commuter hotels on the front end or back end of a trip where I had to commute in a day earlier or commute out a day late. And it just didn't make sense when I could be a CFI or fly corporate stuff and make a better living and be able to provide for my family a little bit more. But the bigger thing here, what I think really made me decide to do it, because there's plenty of guys that are in that same boat, and quite frankly, I did love the flying. I was always stoked and excited to go to work. It was just by leg 4 or leg 5 of day 1, or say leg 4 or leg 5 of day 2 or day 3, you were kind of beat. If you're gonna go do like 16 legs and only credit 18 hours on a trip, that's kind of rough. So what really pushed it over the edge for me was exactly what you saw at the beginning of this video. I'm gonna go fly a Cessna from Alaska all the way to Florida. I'm gonna fly to all 50 states. We're gonna do this trip, and I'm gonna get to meet all of you guys, everyone that's been on this YouTube channel and been on the ground school, tens of thousands of people on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, all these people that we've got to interact with, that you've watched our videos. I'm gonna get to fly around the country now and meet all of you and hang out with student pilots and other CFIs and other commercial pilots, other airline guys, other corporate guys, just all good people. Aviation's full of amazing, awesome people, and I'm just an airplane nerd and a guy that likes to go out and have fun and fly an airplane low and slow and see stuff. Seeing the stuff that we can see at 100 feet, 500 feet is amazing, and I want to do that. I want to go out and see all the people that are watching our videos and actually meet you and fly to your home airport and see what you're doing. And I want to share that with everyone that maybe they can't get into flying, or maybe they're just too tied up with another career, or they're already too far down a path of having kids and having a family and a wife and a house and all these things that kind of tie them down. They can't even pursue a private pilot license, let alone an airline career, and that's really their dream. And I get to make these awesome videos and share them with all of you. So I've got a job for you to do. I'm starting a brand new YouTube channel on nothing but awesome, amazing adventures across America. The link is directly below this video, right in the top line of the description. Click on that link, subscribe to the new YouTube channel. Keep up with what we're doing, where we're at, let us know where you are, and comment your home airport in this video below. I want you to comment exactly what airport you fly out of, and I want to make a list of all these airports that all of our viewers, all of our subscribers fly at. I want to come to every single one of them, and I just want to go fly around with you guys and have a good time. So as long as I can pay the bills, keep the lights on, and be able to put gas on the airplane and do that, I'm gonna do that now while I'm 27 years old, before I'm 50 or 60 and I can barely drag the airplane out of the hangar anymore. So maybe it's probably more like 65, 70, 80, something like that. But way too many guys have all these dreams for what they're gonna do in retirement. Build an airplane, build a boat, sail around the world or something. And they're about to retire, and they dropped out of a heart attack before they can even retire and even think about buying a boat or buying an airplane. I'm gonna do all that now. I'll work till the day I'm dead, but I'm gonna retire up until I'm probably about 35 or 40, hopefully, and then I can go back to work. In the meantime, I'm gonna have a blast, and I hope to be able to share all that with you guys. And I want you to give me your opinions, your feedback. Let us know what you want to see. I want our adventure across the United States to be educational, fun for you to follow, interactive, and I want you to learn something and get something out of it. So give us your feedback. Definitely comment your home airport right below on this video. And please guys, go ahead, check out that brand new YouTube channel, share it with your friends, spread the word. We're gonna be creating some awesome videos, starting up in Alaska, working our way all across the country. I hope to see you guys along on this journey. We want you to come along with us. I'm super stoked to begin this adventure with you guys. Super excited that you get to be my co-pilot on this adventure. Be sure to check out the channel below. The link's right in the description. We'll also put it right in this card right up here on the corner of the screen. Subscribe to this channel if you guys have not already. Give us a thumbs up on this video, share it with your friends. I hope you guys get to pursue all the aviation adventures that you dream of, just like we're doing now. Remember, if you can't fly every day, fly at MikeAlpha.com. We'll see y'all next time.